How's it going there, guys, and welcome to another ProfileTree Wix tutorial. Today I'll be going through how to get started with Wix, just basically showing you the basics. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got a nice plain canvas to start off with. So firstly, what I want to go through is the navigation bar, as it's one of the most important features of your site to get around it. So if you see here, we've got our sidebar. We'll go ahead and have a look at some of the menus items that they have. So if you just click on that, and if you want to scroll down here, and it's at menus or menu and anchor, and from here you've got 3 different options where you can choose from a themed menu, horizontal menu, a vertical menu. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to go ahead and stick with either the themed or horizontal menu. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And what's great about this as well is if it's attached to the section, you can go ahead and attach that to the header. So there's different places where you can add, and it even gives you a confirmation at the bottom left saying that I've added an element to the header. So as you can see, where are my pages? So in order to get some more pages, we're going to go ahead and click on the pages and menu, and as you can see, just as it's referring to the header, we could see home, and same applies, home, and you're able to add to the site menu. As you can see, you can either create a blank page, and about, services, projects, contact, general, and landing, or the following below. Or you can go ahead and add a link if you want to, especially if you're creating a one-page website, or if you want, you can have a sub-menu title. So if we go ahead and click on add a page, and we'll go ahead and add a couple of here. So we'll say we want to have an about us. As you can see, it's generated a default about us, and on top of that as well, it also gave us an about us menu for the header. So we'll go ahead and continue doing that. We'll just add a couple more pages. You don't necessarily, see if you're happy with this page, you don't necessarily have to keep going and adding more pages in. You can do so as well by clicking on the 3 little dots here, or 3 little dots there, but just make sure what one you're trying to duplicate, as this one's the home. So if I just go ahead and click on this and duplicate that, and then that one I could say it's a blog, and then we would want to have a contact for our page, and may possibly want to have, so if you're creating an e-commerce site, you could have a shop if you wanted to, or you could just leave it at that. So we'll just go ahead and add one more. And as you're seeing that here as well, as soon as I'm duplicating this, it's adding and updating my header. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate that one more time. If we look up in the top right, you can see a copy of a shop. Okay, so now that I've shown that part, I'll just go ahead and delete this part. Well, actually no, I'll show you another thing as well, just while we're here. So say you had a men's or women's section for the shop. So we'll go ahead and just rename this men's. There we go, and then we'll also do the same. Just duplicate that. And this time, add that same woman. If you click on this section here, You'll see it there. There's like 6 little squares. So all you need to do for that is, if you hold on to it, it'll sort of squint, and you can have this sort of, yeah, there you go. So you need to push it to the right, and then you'll have the sort of L shape, or the link for the shop to women. Another method of doing this as well is, if it's above, if you just click on it and subpage it, just like that, it subpages it straight away. And I mean, you can even do it with this as well, but we'll not do that. We'll put that for the main page. So of course, if say you've put it in the wrong area, it's just click, drag and drop. So hopefully that's explained the first part of our tutorial. So now we're going to be moving on to the background. So if I just click off this. Oh, and just before I move on, actually, these elements are customizable. So you can just click on design and you can change them about. So it doesn't have to necessarily be that same menu that we picked. As you can see, there's different ones that you can choose from. You can even customize it yourself and adding background fills if you want. And some menus even let you change the text. If I can find one. I think if you did want to customize it, I think you might need to go for a themed menu. So if I click on this one instead and I click on design, should be able to change the text. There you go. So that's one thing to note as well. So it seems like the horizontal menu, you can't change the text layout. It's sort of default, so it's pretty much good for beginners if you just want to start off with your site. But if you want to get a little bit more creative, you go for the themed one, and from there you can just go ahead and start modifying it, just customizing it. I'll show you that quickly as well. So if you just click on customize text, as you can see, if you change the font, it affects the top like so, and you can make it bold, add some italics onto it. The choice is yours pretty much, so yeah. And on top of that as well, so if I delete one of the menus, you can expand it, and what's great is it does the spacing for you for each word. So say I wanted to go from corner to corner from the margins, even spaces are left within. And on top of that as well, so say that I did have a logo for the site and I didn't want to keep to the home, so we'll just make an example actually. So we'll just say that this shape here is our logo, and that'll be linked to our home. So that means there's no need for this home, as I do have a home button as a logo. How do I get rid of this? So it's as easy as clicking on pages and menu, clicking on home. Now you don't delete it, as you do need a home page. So the way to get rid of it, not show onto the header, sorry, or the header, you just click on the pages menu, and then all you have to do, click on the 3 little dots and click on hide. And as you've seen, it got rid of the home. So if we go ahead and preview that, what we're left to see is a clickable item here, which is our home, and about, a blog, contact and shop. And as you can see here as well, we've got sub menus for women's and men's. Of course, it's not laid out properly, and it just takes a little bit of modification just to get it right. So if you did want to manage a menu, you can do so. You can change the layout, as you can see, and then especially if you have a sub menu, you could show it so that it goes and flies out instead. So there you go, there's one that you could do for it, and then you can align it, as you could see, so into the middle instead of aligning to the left. So there's just a list of different things that you can do with this, and this is just the header, so there's plenty more to go through with this tutorial. So okay, that's us officially done with the header or the navigation bar. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to backgrounds. So just below us here we've got a section. So if you wanted to do some modifying for your website, say you wanted to have a hero section, the best way you could do that is either by clicking on just left clicking on the actual section itself, and you can change the section background, and you've got a list of different ones you can choose from, which is default by Wix. So say you wanted the stationary photo, you can go ahead and do so. There's a list of different options there. And these are all free, by the way, so you don't have to worry about any copyright. And say you wanted just a plain color, just black, so go ahead and click on color, and you can choose from a list of different colors. So I can have a black, or I can have it like a dark blue, or like a pinkish color, something to do with grey, something to do with green. See, there's just a list of different colors there. And on top of that as well, if you do have custom color and you wanted to have that same flow around the website, and say you couldn't find the color of a specific item, so say if I had this logo, if I just change the color of this one, and I had this one as a random color from the color palette, say I had it like this, you will be given a code in the bottom, and you're able to copy and paste that anywhere around the website. So just say you copied and pasted this code, you wanted the same colored background, go ahead and change the section, change the color, and of course I don't have that same color. What do? Well, this might be it actually. So all you need to do, click on add, and then with custom color, so it's white at the minute. Since I've copied that, all I need to do is paste it, and there you go. And we can apply the same color throughout the website. Another thing as well with these backgrounds, you can change it to video. So as well as color and image, you can change it to video. And there's a list of different Wix default videos that you can choose from that are all free. So say I wanted to choose this lady with a controller, I can do so. There you go. And if I wanted to preview that, you'll actually see her playing the game with the Xbox controller. So as well as that, what's great about backgrounds, so we'll just use this as a sort of base. What people tend to do, just so the site's more responsive, so if we click away from this and we change this background so it's a plain background, you can add elements in. So if you click on elements, and I've showed this on a previous video as well, you can go ahead and add what we like to call a strip, and from this you can change the strip background. Same applies as well, you can change it to a video, and we could probably get the same video. Okay, as you can see, and you can adjust that to size, and it'll still show the same, but this time the site will be more responsive. And responsiveness means that if you're switching to different devices, it'll go with the actual size of that device that you're on. Or especially if you're shrinking your desktop page or your browser, it'll show, it won't try to squash it, if you know what I mean, or it will squash it, but it won't squash it to an extent where it's like half of our face here and you can only see this part, but it'll try to compress it to a point where it's still usable and seeable for a user. Okay, so now that we've explained that part, I'm going to go ahead and show you what else you could do with the main area. So let's just say here as well for your background or the strip that you have or the element, you've got a white space area. Now some people tend to just drag it up and it will stop, but usually it doesn't, as you can see. And now I've only got half of her face. What do I do? Now I need to drag it down, and now that messes up my alignment. So another way you could do this, instead of doing that, it actually tells you as well. So adjust section height or double click to remove any extra space below. So as it says, double click and it gets rid of that white space and it doesn't affect my element. So that's one. And as well as that, you can add sections. So you can add section below or add section above, as you can see. And you can choose any of their sections that you can, so there's welcome, about, just a list of different ones that you can choose from. Even stores, but you need to add that in, which I'll show you later on with the app market. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on a blank section. Okay. And from this as well, we're going to add a background image. And we're going to show you the differences with using these. So if we preview them, as you can see, they're just stock images on your website. Another way you can modernize your site is the use of scroll effects. So the way to get that up, if you just click on the image or the section that you're doing, you can just click on it, left click, and it'll be right there, background scroll effects, and you've got a list of different scroll effects. But the one I like to use the most is the parallax one, because it sort of it gives that 3D effect. So I'll go ahead and show you that. So if you're viewing this, this is still static to the site. However, this moves with the site, if you can see that. So that's a really cool feature, I think, to modernize your website. Alright, so we've covered that part now of the background. So we'll go ahead and delete this and have a nice canvas for us. So another thing as well is I've shown you how to add things as well. We'll just go back to it again. So if you just want to click on add elements, as you can see, you've got a range of different options here, from text all the way down to my designs. Primarily, if you want to custom make a section, you can do so. So say you wanted an area here for your text and then an area here for your image. So as you can see, you can upload your own images if you wanted to as well. And you can drag and drop from here, or you could use some, especially if you are connected to the, you will be connected to your Wix, you will be able to see all the different files that you have for all the sites that you've created. So that's one thing to note as well. But since we're just getting started, we'll just add a free image. So we'll just do that one. So you can do things like that, where you could just align it like this. And the great thing about Wix is it gives you these lines to keep you corrected to where you need to be. So that's a method of doing that. And there's another method as well of using strips, but that's also shown in another video. So if you guys want to check that out, it'll be in the ProfileTree account, or I'll link it down below. Okay. So that's that part explained. So now we'll just move on to the app market. So as you guys already know now how to upload elements or images or files. So we'll go ahead and move on to the app market. So on your left side here, you've got your sidebar. So you've got the add apps, as you can see. Now this is perfect, especially if you're wanting to get a little bit more creative with your site. So say that you wanted a store, you could do so. As you've seen there, there's a store. We've got Wix bookings as well, a blog, and even the chat, which we do have installed here at the bottom right, as you can see. So easy way to do it, you just click on it, click on the one you want. So just say I'm trying to make an e-commerce site. I'll just go ahead and click on Wix stores, and as you can see, since it's free to install, which is great, all I need to do is click on add to site. This pops up, and then that then adds the Wix stores to my website. So we'll go ahead and wait on that. And as you can see, we've got the store in there. So if you're all happy enough with it, of course, by default, there's areas there where it says I'm a product, but this more goes into having a content manager, and you can manage your products then as well, especially if you have search bars and stuff. That's where you want to keep your data. So this goes more into depth with the dashboard. But we'll look at this in another video. So yes, I'll just delete that. So that's the app market. So there's a list of different ones that you can pick, especially if you're creating a blog post website, you could do so as well. So if it's purely just Wix blog site, you just do this. Or if you have a booking site, you can do that as well. Okay. So the other thing I want to talk about as well, so we're coming to an end now. So we've got the sort of the top bar here. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that. Yes, you can. So as you can see, we've got like a site setting, and then see, especially if you're finished your website, you can get feedback for it, and you're able to send links. So as you can see, I'll just go ahead and click on it, and you'll get a link as well. So you can copy this link, and then you're able to send that to anyone that's wanting to view it, so just like a proofread technically. And you can duplicate the site if you wanted to as well. Or the great thing about it as well as the site history. So site history means that, say you've really messed something up with your website, it's getting laggy, or there's just a couple of errors or issues, it'll show us our history here, and it'll also show us when and what date, time we created this sort of site at, and you can make changes to it as well. So just say, as you can see, from 10/13, it was just a blank canvas, but at 10:25 we had headers going on, so that's what we've seen earlier on. And then from there you're able to click on that and you're able to just go from that point, especially if you have messed up your website. So that's a great feature of for Wix to have a site history. So going back, as you can see, we've got a list of different ones as well. You can go to the dashboard through here as well. So as you can see, there's our dashboard, and that's where you can set everything up from your store products to your SEOs and yeah, pretty much like blog posts as well. So yeah, that shows that. And then on top of that as well, you've got like your settings as well, and then this is where you could do your favicon, especially as you can see. I think this mainly only occurs once you go live or you've got a premium account or a subscription for the site. And I'll talk about the error page 404 in another video there as well. You've got dev mode, and dev mode uses JavaScript Node, so you could play around with it as well. I've shown this a couple of times in other videos, so go check them out if you want to. So yeah, this is where you could just pretty much mess about with it, code up whatever you want. They're good for like multi-state boxes as well, especially if you want to create like drop downs and stuff. They're pretty cool to have, dev mode. You can turn that on, you can turn that off if you want to, as you can see. And you can embed HTML. And as you can see, you can hire a professional for your website. But who wants to do that if you want to create your own website, you know? You can do it, you can go ahead and create that from scratch. So yeah, that sort of explains the basics of Wix and how to get started. Oh, and just one more thing to note as well, you've got tools and a toolbar. That toolbar is great, especially for getting around. So especially if you don't know what height your strip is, we'll just say, if you don't know the size of that strip, as you can see, and you're really struggling to like get it to 400 and you just keep going up and down like that, as you can see here from the height, you just change that to 400 and it does it for you. And there's different ones you can do. You can align that as well. It probably isn't the best thing to think, but we'll do this instead. As you can see, you can arrange it, copy and paste it. You can, as you can see, that shows on all pages since that's the header. So yeah, that's the advantage of using that little toolbar. So yeah, that about wraps up what we've discussed there for the Wix basics. If you guys have any questions at all on it, leave them in the comment section below. And yeah, I'll see you for the next one. Thank you very much.